A ridge that will be strong will be the main story for weather over the next 2 weeks, as that is pretty much what will control the weather up here in the Midwest. It is midsummer overall, so usually this time of year we do get vision to take place that can bring the very hot and dry patterns, but this ridge looks to break down pretty fast. Confidence is increasing that the ridge will break down as soon as Thursday, Friday time frame. But as we can see, for through the early in the middle of next week, we have a pretty strong expansive ridge through much of the Midwest as well, and that is what will bring the very hot temperatures. But as we get to later next week, by next Thursday time frame, you can see the ridge will begin to break down, expands a little bit, but it breaks down quite a bit with some troughing showing up into the west. They will move east because it's showing the blue colors indicated. And some troughing have been showing up into the northeast portions of the country. That is what will bring. That is what we'll have this drier pattern that will take place to the most of the week. But as we get to about Friday or Saturday or so, I think we start seeing an increase in the chances for thunderstorms, including complexes of thunderstorms on the edge of this northwest flow setting up. When you have a northwest flow in July and August, you typically get some pretty long-lived, intense complexes of thunderstorms through the Corn Belt region and maybe into some of the Great Lakes areas as well. And if this placement is right for later this upcoming week, the complexes will take place. They'll develop further north, northwest, and maybe the plains of Minnesota, and then dive southeast as you get through the Corn Belt region and maybe some of the Great Lakes areas as well, like Wisconsin and Michigan. Seems to be in the bullseye for these complexes to ride along the edge of a weakening ridge. But with this trough coming in later this upcoming weekend, whatever you're going to call it, this will bring an increase in forcing. This will bring in even greater chance of thunderstorms, and this is probably where a more potent setup for severe weather will probably take place. Will probably seems to be the 17th, 18th of the month. If this trough does run up happening, it is going to be a shortwave trough embedded in the broad northwest flow, but we should have enough moisture to be in place with dew points into the mid 60s, upper 60s, maybe low 70s dew points. That is enough even for July standards to get these long-lived complexes to happen, especially as the Cape values will increase later this coming week. But early to middle of the week, we're going to be capped because of the ridge being over us. And either way, dew points will be on the low end. That won't make the atmosphere that unstable to begin with. But on the latest runs of some model guidance, it shows this trough continues to dive southeast into the Midwest this upcoming weekend, and this will definitely bring a pretty potent complexes of thunderstorms as we get. And again, that 17th to 19th window time frame, it could change a little bit. But having this troughing showing up on the mid-level heights, this is a pretty good indicator that we're going to get these complexes happen into the Corn Belt region. And it looks like at this time, the ridge will begin to be placed into the western portions of the country. And it looks like that ridge will stay around for a while in the western portions of the country, and then it breaks down as we get into later the week of the 21st or so. But even then, having this ridge being in place, being moved further west, will bring us probably 5 to 7 days of severe weather, pretty much in a row, when each of these shortwave troughs that move through, a couple of them, in the 7 to 10 day time frame, so it's not that far out. I mean, this won't change too much. We're gonna have some embedded shortwaves to happen as well. So dew points won't be that impressive. I mean, they will be higher at times this upcoming week, but for July standards with corn sort happening, dew points don't look very impressive. And at times only the 50s for quite a bit of areas. But as we get to later this upcoming weekend, as this trough begins to move in, we're going to see a much more organized warm sector to take place. We should see widespread 70 dew points as this trough comes in. That is what will help these complexes to happen with some dew points well into the 70s at this range. But it does look to be cooler as we get to next weekend because of the ridge breaking down. So it should not be 100 degrees, but it will definitely be, obviously in July standards, warm enough to get this weather to happen. Taking a look at the mid-level winds being shown for this upcoming weekend, we can see the trough being shown on the southern, as the southern portion, the base of it has a belt of mid-level flow, and as this continues to move southeast, that will be enough forcing to get these thunderstorms to initiate, even if it's capped, the cap or break. So this is a pretty potent shortwave trough being shown in just about 5 to 6 days from now into the Midwest. So this will definitely be, them couple of days will definitely be a focus point for severe weather as we go forward. And then it seems that we continue to be in a pretty broad northwest flow as we continue into the week of the 21st, with embedded shortwave troughs happening. And each of these embedded troughs along the edge of this pretty broad ridge for the west will produce severe weather. But the chances for tornadoes are pretty low in these setups, and it's mainly just damaging wind events that usually take place. One of the more reliable models, accurate models, I would say, that I've been showing in a lot of videos lately, is showing a pretty good amount of below average temperatures to happen behind this ridge as it breaks down. These are pretty widespread area below average temperatures into much of the Midwest, and even like half the country for a pretty extended period of time. This is a 5-day mean of temperatures between the 21st and the 26th of this month, showing below average temperatures for quite a bit of the Midwest. Now, we're in midsummer, so it won't be like 60 degrees. But after having multiple days of 95 to 105 degrees, it seems that we'll be back down into the 80s, and lows back down in maybe the 50s and 60s for several days straight, which will seem like a pretty big cool down after what we're going to go through. Model guidance typically struggles to show these complexes to happen, even if we get to the day before. But looking at the same model with this trough moving in about 5 to 6 days, this model is actually starting to show these complexes to happen. This is next Saturday, the 18th. It shows this complex moving through a large portion of the upper Midwest, and then as we move to Sunday, it shows another complex further south. But with these long-range models starting to show these complexes to happen in the Friday through Sunday time frame, that just builds even more confidence in this taking place. But and then as we go further, it looks like that these complexes will still happen. But again, model guidance struggles to show these complexes even a day or two out. The exact placement, was pretty uncertain. I mean, this will show it, into Wisconsin areas, but as we get closer, it will probably shift down to Nebraska or something like that. It's going to shift around a lot as we get closer, but I would not be surprised if a complex does not happen as this trough moves in this upcoming weekend. Now, the GFS model has been a pretty crappy model for, I'd say, 2 to 3 years now, but it shows this ridge being even more expansive and like well up into Canada for later this upcoming week. But it does have it breaking down as we get to later this coming week too, like late in the weekend time frame. It does have this trough moving in as well, so pretty good confidence with a lot of model guidance on showing this trough to move in, and with timing of the ridge breaking down is in pretty good agreement with a lot of model guidance as well. Looking at the ensemble data, we can see as we go back to the Euro ensembles, it has this ridge breaking down around the same time as what the operational model has as well, with a pretty expansive ridge that breaks down quite fast. It did not really have much of a trough. I mean, it does have a shortwave trough over here. We can see these isobars have like a little bit of a curve into southern Canada, but it is an ensemble, so it's not the operational model, so it's not going to have a bias of a trough or something, but it does have it break down quite a bit with that northwest flow over the Corn Belt region. So looking at the GFS ensemble model, it's a pretty similar look. It has some more ridging further west, developing pretty quickly, but it still has that northwest flow over the Corn Belt, but it has that ridge breaking down. Yeah, about the Thursday, Friday's time frame. So it looks like this dangerous heat will probably only last till about Friday or Saturday. I mean, 5 days is a lot, but it could be longer. And as we get further, it seems that this northwest flow will stick around for a while on the ensemble guidance. So Complexes of thunderstorms will be the main story through the rest of July in general, with no actual setups for tornadoes. Now, here's a look at the highs for this upcoming Tuesday. Actual temperatures, too, by the way. So, looks like it'll be in the mid 90s to close to 100 degrees in a lot of areas. But as we get to the peak of the heat wave, I would say it seems that this upcoming Wednesday, a more widespread area of mid to upper 90s for temperatures, some isolated 100 degrees possible. As we get to this upcoming Thursday, it seems that we're still going to be in the 90s with some low hundreds over the same areas. And look at this, the lows for this upcoming Thursday night, the lows will be in the upper 70s to around 80 degrees into the Corn Belt. Then as we get to this upcoming Friday, it seems to be even warmer with 100 degree temperatures being shown up in a more expansive area as well. And next Saturday seems will be in the 90s again, around 100 degrees for temperatures upcoming Saturday. Depends when the cold front moves in though. Then it will begin to cool down as the trough moves in and the ridge breaks down. This is by Sunday. We're down into the 80s for a lot of, even 70s for a lot of areas as well. So that seems to be the case, that we're going to have very hot temperatures for the next 5 days and very dry as well. And then it's going to get active for severe weather, and it's going to get slightly colder for temperature wise.